Let's look at what happens if you try to calculate the amount of hours between two timestamps. Here's an example of some check-in and check-out data. And here's my checkout data on the same day, check-in, check-out. Let's see how we can calculate how much time that is. Well, first of all, we might try to do B2 minus A2. And what we get is a fraction. And if we think about that, that is probably that portion of a full day, which is 24 hours. So let's see what happens if we take that and multiply it times 24. And we get 6.2. So 8 o'clock to 2:12 is 6 hours and 12 minutes. And that sounds about exactly right, 6.2 hours. Now let's also double check that, because if we took this same formula equals this minus this, and we formatted that, let's get rid of that, let's format that using the duration function, and we get 6 hours and 12 minutes. This one actually gives us a decimal that we could use to multiply hours. This gives us a decimal that I don't think we could use that to multiply to get how many dollars someone earned based on their hourly rate. This one we could use. This one I don't think we could really use, so we would have to break this down. Let's take a look at that and see exactly how we could do that. So what we might try to do here is go ahead and split equals split. Let's split this text, and the delimiter that we're going to use is the colon. And let's see what happens if we do that. Okay, we get 6, 12, 0. If I don't really want the seconds included, they're going to be irrelevant. I could add a function in there to drop that. So first of all, let's copy these. Let's copy all these formulas down, and we'll do something like that. And we can see that we have this data that we're dropping. This is our subtraction. This is our subtraction times 24. Which, by the way, we could do in a single formula. And then this one is B2 minus A2, showing us the duration, 6 hours and 12 minutes, and this is the split of that. Now, if we take a look, I have one example where I have 10 hours. If I don't want to include the 0, I could use the mid function to go ahead and split this. So let's say that we want to make a formula that works whether we have just a single digit here, or in this case 2 digits. We could use the mid function to do that, but we'll have to wrap it in an if statement. Let's see how we might do that. Right now we're just splitting E2 on the colon and getting 3 separate columns. Let's have a formula I'm going to paste in here. And let's take a look at what this says. If the length of D2 is 8, and in that case that would be this one here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So in this case it's 8. So if we took that and said if D2 is equal to 8, then what we want is to use the mid function on D2, starting at 1 and going 5 across, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Else, if it's not equal to 8, then we'll do D2 1, start at 1 and go 4. And in that case, and then in that whole thing is the function of our text. When I look at my split function, that's the text. That's the text, and then we're going to split on the colon. So if I came there, you'd see that would move to delimiter. So okay, that works. So let's see what happens if we copy that down. We can go ahead and copy that down. And there we go. Now we have, with one formula, so this is my duration. Let me just, let me go ahead and type duration. And let's go ahead, let's take this column and make it the same number of decimal places. And let's make this the same number of decimal places. So this is just simply, this is the subtraction. Let's just call this subtraction. This is subtract times 24. This is the duration, and this is the split. And we can see by doing that we get the same results. So really the fastest way to do this would be to type a single formula where we would just take this C2, this one, B2 minus A2. So right now you could see I'm going C2. So what I could do is take this formula, copy it, and then I could come over here and replace C2 with that. And I think what we have to do is wrap that, however. We're going to have to wrap that in parentheses. You see that number, and we get 6.2. So if we copied this down, we get all the same, and it means I can actually delete C2. We're not using it any longer. In fact, we could just delete the column out. So here we go. This is a single formula that gives us this. If we use the duration function, which is great, it helps us see that, but it doesn't give us what we need in terms of coming up with, let's say we have a rate of, say, $25 an hour, and we want to know how much money a person would have made. So this would be earnings, and this would be equal to the this one. Let's just use this one times, we'll do that times this. So this, and if we change that to the currency, then we should be able to highlight these and drag them down. And that would be our earnings rate at the same $25 an hour based on our check-in and check-out time. So a couple of different ways to solve this. This is a little more complicated, and I wanted to verify that this formula gave me the exact same data as the duration, the split, and this complicated split that would give us that hours and the decimal amount of hours that was worked.